Hello, and thank you for joining me for this talk on the bumblebees of the Aroostook National Wildlife Refuge. I visited there in Limestone, Maine on the 8th of June. It was a warm, sunny day. Here you can see the image of that wildlife refuge, the lynx, which is a predator on snowshoe hare. So if you have snow and snowshoe hare, you're likely to have lynx. And we have a healthy population here in northern Maine. So where is the Aroostook National Wildlife Refuge? Well, in the bigger picture of Maine, here it's up in the northeast of Maine, almost in the northeast corner, north of Caribou. In the white area here, you can see Caribou, and the Aroostook National Wildlife Refuge is between Route 1 north of Caribou and Route 1A. And so what you do in Caribou is you take Route 89 to the east. That's called the Access Highway. And that Access Highway runs north and then due east. And just north of that, it's well marked. There's a road that goes into the National Wildlife Refuge. And the first driveway you encounter in the refuge is the visitor center or administration building. Here it's symbolized by the star. There's plenty of hiking trails or winter sports trails here. There's a 1 mile loop right at the visitor center, and you can see others just to the north. So what did we find? Well, I have confirmation of one species absolutely, which is the tricolored bumblebee, Bombus tenareus. There were a large number of bees, and they were on common dandelion. Keep in mind, common dandelion is not a native plant, but it's become naturalized. And here you can see the orange banded, some people call it, or tricolor bumblebee with the two orange bands surrounded usually by white or yellow, and then black at the tip of the abdomen. So tricolored. Again, these were in really good numbers, and in addition to being on common dandelion, they were also feeding on ground ivy. I believe these are queens, again, in good numbers, and they were all over the lawn here at the visitor center. The next bee I encountered, at first I thought this was common eastern bumblebee, but as I got a closer look, there's a couple things that are different about this. So let's look at the close-up. And this was in the pollinator garden just outside the visitor center, and you can see it's on lupin. And I believe this is half-black bumblebee, but it could also be confused with Sanderson bumblebee. Both have hairy faces. They both have a lot of hair, especially yellow hairs on their thorax, including the entire side. But they have two bands of yellow. And I believe this is half black because I think Sanderson would have more color on the two bands that it has on its abdomen. Now, the problem here is that you really need microscope work or really good close-up work to be able to tell the difference between these. And also, as it's flying at 10 miles an hour, it's hard to tell if it's not common eastern bumblebee. So when you look close, you can see the sides, there's yellow, there's a dot here. A lot of times the Sanderson will have a band. And in both the 2017 and 2018 census in northern Maine towns, the Bumblebee Atlas that was done, half-black bumblebee was in very large numbers, but there were some Sanderson bumblebees. So I can't be 100%. But I'm leaning towards half-black bumblebee for this. Here you can see common eastern bumblebee on the left-hand side. This is an image from my yard on a crabapple, early spring. And on the right is the Bombus vagans, the half-black bumblebee. And again, on the common eastern, there's really just one band of yellow on the abdomen, upper abdomen. And on the Bombus vagans and the Sanderson, it's two bands. Bombus vagans will have a little bit of black worked in there, and that's why I'm kind of leaning towards this. So you can see they look a lot alike. Now, I don't have a good side shot, but here is a Sanderson bumblebee on the left. And here you can see the Bombus vagans, what I believe is half black bumblebee, on the right. And you can see they're very, very similar. So really hard to tell for sure if these are not the same or if they're different. But anyway, I'm leaning towards half black, mostly because of the coloration of the first abdominal segment. So with that, I'll say thank you. The good news is we had plenty of bumblebees, and we'll be going back to look at are there other species and what they're feeding on. So thanks for listening.